What's up, YouTube? Siegfried True Lane here, and today we're going to be finally answering a question that I see a lot of Genshin players getting wrong and not fully understanding. Today we're going to answer that question. I'll catch you guys in just a minute. Welcome back, YouTube. Today we're going over kind of why Honkai Star got the rewards. As you can see, I have a third game up here. If you're not aware of this game, it's Honkai Impact 3rd. So in order to go over this, we've got to go over the history a bit. Now, I'm hoping this video will work out well. I have all three programs running, and that's going to kind of kill my CPU along with my recorder. But let's hope it works out well. So, I'm going to keep this video short, less than 10 minutes. In order to understand this whole issue between Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact, we have to go back and take a look at their first game, Honkai Impact 3rd. Now, I have seen a lot of misinformation. I've seen a lot of people talking about, oh, Honkai Star Rail is getting all these rewards because it's in a different category, it has to, or that it's because of they're trying to make up for something in Genshin, or it's because it's their favorite title, or blah, 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 blah. Anyways, it's just a bunch of stuff that's just not correct. And they don't seem to understand how important the different dev teams are. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest about something. I do not think MiHoYo is a bad company. And I'm going to tell you why. MiHoYo has apparently taken their hands off all of these projects to let the dev teams and the leader of that dev team, that producer, have complete control. And you can see this by how the Honkai series are treated versus the Genshin series. So let's get into this really quickly. Now, the first thing we got to take a look at or talk about is the past of Genshin Impact and Honkai Impact 3rd. Now, when we take a look at Honkai Impact 3rd, something that is so important to remember is that Honkai Impact 3rd actually had, in the beginning, the same producer who moved on to Genshin Impact, to start Genshin Impact. And when he was in charge of Honkai Impact 3rd, it was just as bad, if not worse, than Genshin Impact. You don't believe me? Take a look at the old 4-star characters and 5-star characters and compare them to our characters today. Compare any S rank to the newest A rank, which is, we all call her Skywalker because she literally uses a lightsaber. She's a Jedi. And that's important to understand this, because the thing is that when the developer changed, when the developer team changed, when the producer changed, the game changed, and for the positive. Anyone who played this game in the beginning, when it came out, has said it was not that good. And then he quit. And then finally they were convinced to come back and give it another try, and they were like, dude, this game is so different. So, you have to understand that it really comes down to the producer of the game, not the company itself. Now, I know the company hires them, but I would much prefer the company take their hands off instead of making sure their hands come on. Because something to remember is that a majority of the time when we see stinginess in gacha games, it is the CEOs of the company doing it. And you can see that in almost all of the games that they're running. I'm going to give you an example of that. Look at Dragon Ball Z. Neither Dokkan Battle nor Legends has a legit pity system. Now Dokkan Battle has the coins, which are great. Legends has the tickets, which it updated and finally updated 2 years after the last update. But they don't have an actual legit pity system that is reasonable. Their pity system is for whales only, not for free to play. It doesn't carry on, and it's complete garbage. So, both those games are very similar in that way. One might be worse than the other, but they're very similar. Even the rates are the same, to be perfectly honest. But when you take a look at these three games, you can see that they're all very different in their own ways. By far, the most generous is Honkai Impact 3rd. Honkai Star Rail is a close second, but there are many ways that Honkai Impact 3rd are more generous, and let's talk about that before we get into Genshin Impact. Now, real quick, I'm stopping these recordings and making smaller videos I'm going to put together in the end, mostly because I don't want to do like a 10-minute video, find out that it's not going to stop because too much CPU usage. So let's get on the topic. How is Honkai Impact 3rd more generous than Honkai Star Rail? Now, Honkai Star was only 8 months old, alright? But it has the advantage of learning of what Honkai Impact 3rd did right. And there are 2 major things it has done wrong when it comes to the gacha systems. When you want to talk about the stamina, the relic, and all that other bullcrap, that's just like Genshin. People like to talk about how the relic system in Honkai Star Rail is better than Genshin. It's not. The only thing that we have that's better is the self-modeling resin, but you can still get screwed by that by making a specific piece you want and having it be all defense stats. So, I mean, realistically, relic grinding in both games is the exact same. Upgrading is a bit better in Star Rail, but you're still time-locked, which sucks ass. Just like you are in Genshin. Realistically, you really are. Just not as time-locked, I guess is the best way to say it. In Honkai Impact 3rd, though, you can get a character and upgrade to max up. You can get your character and they're maxed out within 30 seconds. As long as you have the money, as long as you've been saving up those mats, they all use the same mats, unless they're an SP unit, and then they got another mat, which can be a little more of a pain. But I got like 150 of them now. Like, I'm swimming in these mats. But they're not hard to grind or farm, and at worst, it might take you a week or 2 to max out a character's growth. That's it. It's really easy. Leveling 1 to 80 is the easiest. There's no awakenings, none of that bullcrap. The hard part will come if you need gold for the skills, because almost every unit just needs gold for skills. Unless they're an SP, in which they need another mat, which can be a bit more of a pain. Weapons are a little bit different in Honkai Impact 3rd. It does take a little bit more to grind to get your weapon up, but again, all weapons use the same mats. You know what you're going to need, and you know the amount you're going to need. There's none of this guessing of, oh, what do I need here? It's always the same. For a 4-star weapon to go to 5 stars, you need 9 Honkai Cube Shards. Again, easy to get. You need about 32 of this other mat. Again, not that hard to get. You farm up this little purple currency called Asterite, which is an easy currency to get through the gameplay, and you buy the mats you need. It's really easy, to be perfectly honest. It's not hard to figure out. 4 stars in Honkai Impact 3rd are free. This is where Honkai Star Rail still fails. Now, I love Honkai Star Rail, but the fact that you can pull 3 S ranks, 3 5 stars, before you even get the 4-star you're going for is still not acceptable. All 4 stars should be free to play and should be free to farm. If Honkai Impact 3rd can do it, Star Rail and Genshin can do it, just gonna say that. In Honkai Impact 3rd's 4 stars, you might want to say, well, Genshin's 4 stars are more useful, or Star Rail's, no. Genshin's 4 stars are the most useful 4 stars of all 3 games. Most of the 4 stars in Honkai Impact 3rd are going to be a part of your team metas in 90% of the cases. And at least 2 of the newest 4 stars that were released easily clear the hardest content in this game. Better than some 5 stars. I mean, and they're free to, you get a 4-star and you can rank them. Technically, it's called an A rank, and you can rank them up to triple S. The hardest part about them is making sure you have their weapons in 3 stigs, which is kind of a necessity. But you're not summoning for them. You summon for their weapon and stigs, which again have a smaller pity threshold. The normal weapon stig pity, if you have worse, really bad RNG, is 20 multis. For this set, it's 12. So again, better multis as well. It is really the best. 4 stars in Honkai Impact 3rd are really the best free-to-play low spender option, and they are good, and they look good, and their animations are good. So, sorry Genshin, sorry Star Rail, your 4 stars have nothing on Impact 3rd's 4 stars. As for generosity between Genshin and between Honkai Impact 3rd and Honkai Star Rail, the gacha system, the weapon banner still sucks. We are getting an update. Right now, the weapon banners to get a weapon in all 3 stigs is going to be 20 multis, but you gotta remember that you're going to get a guaranteed 4-star, which moves to 5-star, which is our 5-star guarantee in this game, which then can pre-arm to 6 stars, right? So 4 stars is the rank. There's no 5-star bullcrap rarity. 4 stars go to 5, and then the majority of newer weapons that are signature will then be pre-armed to 6. Going from 4 to 6 is completely free to play. You don't need dupes of weapons. You don't need any of that crap. 1 weapon, you're done. And in Impact 3rd, you are guaranteed a 4-star weapon or stig of a specific listed sets every multi, or every 10 singles. Which means that you can literally pull 2 stigs you need in 1 multi, and then like you can finish in like 5 multis be done. And sometimes they have banners like Phoenix where you summon enough and you hit certain thresholds and they're going to give you the stigs and the weapon for free. But that again is usually for the special S ranks. Only set it 3 times. On a Bronya, on this Fuhua, and on a Durandal. Alright, so let's talk about the real reason Honkai Star Rail is getting rewards that Genshin Impact is not. I've heard a lot of misinformation, like a lot. It's as though people don't do a bit of research into other games that MiHoYo has released. Now, I never played Gun Girls, but I heard Gun Girls was also pretty generous. And so, if we take a look at even that one, which I'm going to be perfectly honest, I don't know enough about that one, but I do know about Honkai Impact 3rd, which is a bit newer. But still, I mean, we're hitting our 6-year anniversary soon. Like, it's 6 years old. And look how beautiful this game still looks. It still looks beautiful. Also, character designs, I'm sorry, Honkai Impact 3rd still beats character designs. Like, these characters are amazing. But the big thing to understand is the dev, or is the producer. The producer for Genshin Impact is the same producer who controlled Honkai Impact 3rd in its dark days. And when that guy left, the new producer took over and was like, dude, the crap is this? And then he produced Honkai Star Rail. This is why Impact 3rd and Star Rail share a lot of similarities in their stories and character designs. Star Rail characters look closer to Impact 3rd's characters than Genshin's do. Genshin's look more of a mix between video game anime, while Star Rail and Impact 3rd look more like anime. Let's just get that clear. That's why Honkai Star Rail has animated shorts, just like Honkai Impact 3rd does. Honkai Impact 3rd are still better. Honkai Impact 3rd is honestly still gets more love dev-wise than Honkai Impact 3rd gets more love dev-wise than Star Rail does. I'm going to tell you right now. If you think Star Rail is amazing in any aspect, dude, Impact 3rd will blow you away. The only downside is, again, those dark days did make chapters 1 through 10 pretty crappy. But once you get past that, once you get to the later chapters, you're just like, dude, this game is different. Impact 3rd is very mobile for the first, I would say, 20 chapters of the story, but after that, we're like in chapter 40-something, the game feels totally different. And in February, when we get the whole new update, it's going to be even more different. It's going to be closer to Star Rail's map versus pick a mission, do a mission, you're done. Again, the beginning of Impact 3rd, controlled by the guy who controlled Genshin, what do you expect? It's crap. This is the real reason, though, why Star Rail is getting the rewards. It has nothing to do with Impact 3rd's team and with Genshin Impact's team at all. It has everything to do with Impact 3rd's team. The only thing that they do is they do implement more what can they get away with. That, I'll tell you honestly, they could not get away with in Impact 3rd right now. And so, and to be honest, I do expect things more from Impact 3rd and Star Rail. And on the top of that, Impact 3rd is going to be lowering the pity from 30 multis to 15 to completely finish a character. We could see that in Star Rail. Like, imagine, like, in 3 or 4 years, they're like, you know what? We're going to remove the 50-50. You summon on the featured banner, you're going to get the featured character. No more 50-50. No more 50-50. No more 75-25 on the weapons. You summon, you get it. I mean, that would chop your multis from 0 pity from 36 multis to 18. And even if they just did it with the character ban, you would still go from 36 to 25. I think. 25? No. 27. 36 to 27. That is still a huge... That's like over $100. And if they did that, that would mean that you could be guaranteed one of the featured 5 stars every single patch update. Now, if you take a look at what Impact 3rd is doing with their newest releases, with their new engine coming out, it is possible in the future to see that in Star Rail. I'm not predicting, I'm not saying leaks, I'm saying it's possible for that to happen. Genshin Impact. Apparently the producer did change recently, so we might see a change there. But until that one producer is hands-off on that game, and he is one of the CEO boardrooms, to be honest, he is one of the main company head leaders, the problem is I guess the best way to take a look at this, and we'll get this in a bit, is Final Fantasy XI and Final Fantasy XIV, and we'll talk about that in a second. But the fact of the matter is, the reason Star Rail gets as much love as it does is because Impact 3rd's dev team is a good dev team. Their leader, their producer, is a producer who cares about the player base. Now I'm going to close this video by doing a comparison between another two games under the same company, but having two different producers / developers. Final Fantasy XI, Final Fantasy XIV, and Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn. So I think that's technically 3 games. Final Fantasy XI was done by people who thought the Eastern RPG style was best. Now, the Eastern RPG style was okay when Final Fantasy XI came out, but I will tell you, it's not considered okay anymore. That's like releasing Resident Evil 9 and releasing it with Resident Evil 1 controls, because the tank controls were best. Nobody liked the tank controls of Resident Evil 1. If you released Resident Evil 9 with fucking tank controls, that game is gonna be so hated, it's not even funny. Nobody's gonna play that game and be like, Resident Evil 9, I miss these controls. And the person who would decide that would be so deluded in their own head that they would probably be instantly fired from Capcom after the whole debacle. And that's the best way to look at it. And now let's take a look at Final Fantasy XI and 14 and A Realm Reborn. The developers from 11 moved on to make 14. And they were so arrogant of what they thought was a good RPG that they just kind of did the same thing they did 11, except a little more polished, and it was hated. Really hated. And then they released, then all the backlash hit, right? When this backlash hit, Square Enix had to apologize, and they brought in a whole new face, Naoko Yoshida, or also what we know in that community is Yoshi P, who came to the game, looked at how bad it was, looked at how arrogant the leaders were, thinking that their style of RPG was best, had to have the whole team, because you gotta remember that the producer and the lead developer, I think, is the producer is something else. Sorry, I always forget the two titles he has to carry. But they were both, one was fired or moved to a different division, one was demoted, right? Then he had them play Western RPGs and realize this is what an MMO is now. This is what people want to play now. And after that, they re-released A Realm Reborn in an amazing godlike speed. I mean, A Realm Reborn's story, if you've never seen it, dude, the history of A Realm Reborn's remaking is amazing and shows what Genshin could eventually, hopefully have if we get a good developer, producer, sorry. So, when he took over, remade the game from the ground up, they worked their butts off to do it. They did an amazing job. That game went from being one of the trashiest MMOs to being an MMO that honestly beat WoW. It is the first MMO that gave WoW a run for their money and took WoW players away. And some of those WoW players never returned. Some did, some didn't. And you know what it did? It also made WoW get better. To the point where they hired the CEO, fired the CEO eventually. So WoW got better because of Final Fantasy XIV. Why am I bringing this up? Because Star Rail, Impact 3rd, and Genshin Impact are all under the exact same company, just like Final Fantasy XI, 14, and A Realm Reborn were under Square Enix. But the games are so different due to who the producer is. So this shows that, in all honesty, the CEOs of Hoyoverse are not these greedy cucks everyone thinks they are. They're actually pretty hands-off. Now, they could be, but the fact that Daiwei, who was the one we see in Honkai Impact 3rd, and the one you've seen in the last Genshin livestream, does not force the Honkai games to be just greedy and selfish, but more known, like, people in Honkai Impact 3rd community love Daiwei. People in Genshin Impact probably have a different feeling towards him. But the fact that that occurs shows that they are hands-off. Like, this is your game. Just make sure people are happy, and we're not going to do anything. And I think we're going to see a huge change in Genshin Impact. I do think that this is going to be what changes it. I think Zenless Zone Zero's, depending on who the devs are, could be amazing. If it's The lead dev from Genshin Impact going to Zenless Zone Zero, if I find that's who went and is going to be the producer of that game, I won't touch it. I won't touch it. I will not touch it. Because I already know what to expect. So, this is the real answer to why Star Rail gets all the rewards. This is the truth. And if you want to look into it yourself, go take a look at the history of Impact 3rd. Take a look at the producer. Look at the fact that the producer for those games are the same. And I would encourage you guys, look, if you don't like turn-based combat, I get it. But I would suggest going through the story at Honkai Impact 3rd. If you're a big story fan, it's going to be really good. If you're not, guess what? You can skip the story in that game. And I will tell you, the starter bonus in Impact 3rd is amazing still. I think it's like, you spend $20 and you get like $200 worth of stuff for $20. But you also have a free path. You get 3 free S ranks just for playing the game. Just for being a gamer playing the game. Actually, I think it's like 5 S ranks. And the banner, the starter banner is always fire. So, and the next update, the next version is going to be the best time to join because we're getting a whole new system remake. It's going to be amazing. And if you're wondering why you don't hear about it that often, I would say it's 2 reasons. PC mobile only, no media attention. I really hope the game gets a console release because I'll tell you, if it gets a console release, the media is going to focus on it. But there's also a chance that they might not want to release it on a console because they want to keep it contained, as it's easier to handle a game on PC and mobile, and if you throw it on another console, it becomes harder. Because you have a whole new fan base you gotta make sure to please. With that said, guys, I'm gonna end the video. I have another video I've already watched. I'm gonna more, not react to it, but more kind of answer some of the questions in it as a player of all 3 games. If you guys liked the video, please like and subscribe, leave a comment, anything. I will see you guys in the next video.